Hey everyone, it's Jeannie from A1 Vacuum and Sewing, and we are getting ready to, or I am getting ready to stitch out Star Spangled Celebration Sweet Liberty mug rug. It is so cute. It's going to be a fun, quick project. Kimberbell has released what they're calling their Classics Volume 1, 2, and 3. And this is one of those packets. And what we're doing is we're just picking one design out from each packet. We're just going to stitch it with you. And so I am in charge of doing the mug rug. That we have a fabric kit. So if you want to get a fabric kit, these are available at our store. I can't remember how much they are. They're cheap. It's like $6.99, something like that. And I'm going to stitch this with you, and then we're going to do a day where we stitch 3 different projects live if you want to partake in that. And you just want to go ahead and get a kit, or you can get the design and kit it yourself. So let's go ahead and get started. I want you to heat up your iron. And what we're going to do is we are going to begin by folding the back half, backing fabric in half, aligning short edges with wrong sides together, and iron a crisp fold in the fabric. Repeat with second piece. So let's go ahead and we're going to grab those 2 pieces out of our kit. And each one of these, you've got a fat eighth. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be right back because I need to actually prep some of these pieces. I'm so used to everything being pre-cut in our kits. And I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. You're going to have 3 by 5.5 pieces. These are going to be for the stripes. You're going to have 2 3 by 5.5 white with tiny dot. You'll have 1 3.5 by 6. And then this is for the back, and these are 6 by 9. And with the fabric, you should have enough for 2. You're not going to quite have enough of the backing, but you could use one of the other fabrics as your back. Nobody's going to see it. So just take these with the back fabric. We're going to go ahead and press those in half with the short ends together. So long piece like this, and go ahead and press it over. You're going to do that with both of these. So you're going to have an envelope back. Then go ahead and do that with this piece as well. Now we're going to go ahead and hoop our stabilizer. I'm just going to be using muslin. You know, a lot of times I use muslin just because everything's so much softer and it's more pliable, so I just like it. And I'm using my 5 by 7 magnetic hoop right here. So let me go ahead and fold this over. I think I'm doing 1 big one on the top, 1 big magnet down on the bottom. I like to just kind of hold it like this and make it taut. And then you're going to have 2 small ones on each side. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and slide this onto the machine. I just have a white pre-wound bobbin in. And for the colors, I'm going to be using white and this really pretty blue. Let's go ahead and take this on over to the machine. And let's load our design. I'm going to grab my fabric too. Okay. I already transferred the design with Design Database Transfer, so I'm just going to go to my pocket. My design should be right here. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and set that. I've already chosen my hoop size, but if you haven't done that yet, just go to your settings button, which is either going to look like the little gear or it'll look like the notebook paper. And there's my 5x7. So 5x7 is already selected. And then make sure your tension's at 0, your foot height's at 0.060, that you're ending needle up, not needle down in your fabric, and that you have your automatic embroidery foot auto down feature on if you have that. And I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And I'm going to slide on my hoop. And let's say embroidery. And let's go ahead and stitch. First step. It wants you to do hoop stabilizer only. Stitch the batting placement line. I'm going to go ahead and put in my darker blue. This is Marlin. And the whole stitch out's only 8 minutes, but we're going to be doing some flipping and folding. It's going to take a little longer than that, but it's a pretty quick and easy project. And here we go. Okay, while it's doing that, I'm going to get my spray tent and my spray. I'm going to make a little room here. Okay, this is my dime spray tent. Here we go. And I've got a piece of dirty cardboard in there that I'll occasionally change out. And then the spray I use is this Gnold KK100. Oh, you know what? I don't even have the lights on. Hang on. I was like, why does it look so dark in here? And I didn't have my overhead lights on. I know you're looking at going, that didn't make a difference. Made a little difference, right? Okay, here is my batting. You should have a piece of batting in your kit. I'm going to give it a shot of spray to the really lumpy side. And we are going to go ahead and lay that down. Actually, it looks kind of big, so I think this is cut a little bit bigger, so we do have to do the tack down. Or let me see if they want you to do the tack down right now. It says, stitch the batting placement line directly on top of stabilizer. Place the batting on top of the stabilizer, completely covering the placement line, and stitch the flag template. Okay, let's go flag template. It looks like we're going to be alternating I love this fabric, the red with the white. So I'm going to go ahead and in my spray tent, I'm going to spray 3 of the reds and 2 of the whites. And make sure you spray the wrong side of the whites because they're hard to tell the difference, but it is tone on tone. And the little polka dots are going to be a little like bolder on one side. All right. Next thing it wants you to do, if you look at your instructions, is first thing we're going to do is we're going to place 1 piece of the red right side up, making sure to completely cover section 1. So I'm going to take this down and let's grab one of these pieces. And these are cut really, really big. In my opinion, I should just cut it 5.5 inches in a strip all the way across. And then we could have flipped and fold and cut it down. Because this to me is going to be really wasteful, but whatever. Okay. Next thing that it's going to do, I'm going to slide this back on, and it is going to do the trimming placement line. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. Color I don't think makes a difference right now because we're going to flip and fold over it, but I'm going to go with white just so it's going to be, it's going to stand out a little less. And let me put my white in. You could just pick a neutral color. So this is first going to be the trim line, and then it's going to be the placement line. It's dual purpose. And get your snips, and you're going to go ahead and trim to the left of this line. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to put down a piece of the white. And if you take that white and put it right on that line, you're going to get a little of that red shadowing through. So what you want to do is take that and just put it right over that red line. And then when you fold it over, this will fold on the white and you won't see that red. Now I sprayed this fabric and you're putting it right side down. So the right side where the little polka dots are a little broader, bolder goes down. This is the wrong side that's facing up. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and hold this here. You're going to hit start. It's going to do a little bit of stitching, but you want to hold it there or else the fabric, and then you want to hold it on the other side. If you don't and you sprayed, that fabric's going to stick to the foot. So you need to hold it down right where it starts, and then you also need to hold it down at the other end. Otherwise, that fabric will stick to the bottom of the foot because of the adhesive, and then it'll get dragged around all over. You're going to go ahead and pull this over, give it a nice finger press. I'm doing a nice fingernail press. And then we're going to go ahead and lay this down. Because of the spray, it should stay down and keep it nice and taut. We're going to slide the hoop back on, and then you're going to go ahead and hit start, and it is going to do your next trim placement line. I'm just going to tickle it over to the left just to make sure everything lays nice and flat. You're going to see you don't see any of the red. And go ahead and lift this up and trim this away. So again, I think what I would do is just cut a strip that was 5.5 inches, but I wouldn't cut each strip down to 3 inches because this is a lot of waste. And I hate wasting. All right, next piece down, we're going to grab one of our reds. You're going to take your red. It can go right on the line because the white's not going to shadow through. Or you can cover over that white if you want. And again, I want you to grab a tool, not your finger, and just hold it down on this end. Let it do the locking stitch, but you also want to hold it where I'm tapping my finger. Just to make sure it stays nice and taut. And that fabric doesn't get pulled left and right and stuck to the bottom of the foot because I sprayed it. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this and you're going to fold it over. Give it a nice little finger press. For me, it's a fingernail press. And you're going to lay it down. The spray is going to stick and make it so it stays nice and taut. Go ahead and slide your hoop back on. And I'm going to tickle my fabric. And this is going to be your next trim line. After you trim, it becomes your placement line. I'm not even looking at my instructions because flip and fold, it's so easy. You're just going to do your trim. So we're trimming right now. Then you're going to place on that same line, and then you do your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Or your seam allowance might be a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how you lay your fabric down. Next goes your white piece. I'm going to take that and I'm not going to leave it just on the stitch. I'm going to bring it over a little bit so I don't get any shadowing. And I want you to use a tool. Make sure you have wrong side up, sticky side. I'm going to put this down right here so the fabric doesn't stick to the bottom of my foot. And I'm going to put my finger on the other end so that the fabric doesn't move left or right. And then we're going to flip and fold it. Take this, fold it back, give this a little fingernail press. Press it down because I have adhesive on it. If you're not doing that, you might want to tape or do something just to make sure it stays down. And then as this stitches back, I'm just going to kind of tickle my fabric to the left just to make sure it stays taut. That is my trim line. First we're going to trim, and then it becomes my placement line. So I'm going to go ahead, pretend that this is a straight line. I love flip and fold. Okay, we're going to go ahead. That's your placement line now. We're going to place right side down, wrong side up. I'm going to put my stiletto down to hold this fabric right here. I want to make sure it tacks it down. And then I'm just going to hold it all the way on the other side so that fabric doesn't stick to the bottom of my foot. And then we're going to flip it over. I'm going to fold this. Give it a nice little finger press. Lay it down. Okay, let's look at our instructions. So we just did all of these pieces. That was my second white. Flip the page. And then here's our last piece. So I just folded it over. Flip and press piece 5 right side up. And you can always take this out and press it with your iron, but I always leave it in here. But this is going to look great. And now step 7, we're going to lay down piece 6. So this is going to be the blue piece over here. So it's going to go ahead and it's going to do a trim line right here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this back. It's going to stitch across from left to right. Okay, now you're going to trim. So you're going to trim down below. And just pretend this line extends all the way out. You can fold this back a little bit. If you need a little more heft, you can get your double curved scissors out. Or you can get your, my Martelli snips would go through this. A pair of double curved is nice because the double curved helps keeps the tips from going down into your batting. And there we go. Now that trim line becomes our placement line. And we're going to be laying down the blue swirl. So I'm going to give that a little shot of spray. Okay, you always spray on the wrong side. Never spray on the right side. And I'm going to go ahead and place this. Center it to that stitch. So my stitch goes here to here. So make sure you don't have it laid down like too far to the right or too far to the left. You want an equal amount on either side of that stitch. And I can go ahead and I can cover that red, but you don't have to because it really is dark fabric, so there really won't be that much shadowing. Again, I'm going to hold it right here because I want to hold it down where it's going to get tacked down. And then I'm going to hold it on the left-hand side. And we're going to flip and fold it towards us. So we just did this step right here where it's sewed across. Now we're going to flip and press piece 6 right side up. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, flip it towards me. I'm going to give it a nice firm finger press, and then I'm going to press this down. So cute. Okay. Now it wants you to stitch the piecing tack down line. This sews a line around the entire project. All right, slide this back on. Whoops. There you go. Now it wants you to change the thread to white. I already have white in, and you're going to stitch the star quilting stitches. So I'm just going to hit start. It's going to do star quilting on the blue part. We're almost done. All right. Now what you want to do is we are on step number 10, and we're going to change the thread to dark blue, stitch the word Sweet Land of Liberty Quilting, which is going to go right here over the stripes. So I'm going to go ahead and change my thread out. I'm just using Marlin, which is more of a, it's kind of like a medium dark blue. This is what I'm going to use. Kind of matches the little swirls. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. This is 3 minutes of stitching. And then we're going to put the back on. right. Oh, that looks so cute. All right, we are on the final step, and we're going to just go ahead and grab those 2 back pieces. This is how you make the back. We're going to grab these, and we're going to go ahead and overlap them an inch in the middle. So you want the folded ends in the middle, the raw edges on the outside, and about an inch. We'll put this one down first. And just look underneath. Make sure you're about, I don't know, half an inch on either side. And over here, you're going to be, I would just take this and line up this fold with the fold where the blue meets. That's a good point of reference. And then we'll put this here on the end and fold this over. Looks pretty good. So, and just make sure this covers both sides, and it's going to cover, you want to just make sure your fabric's covering all of the outline stitch that went around. And the most important places to put your tape is going to be right here and right here, where the foot's going to go over it. You just don't want that foot to catch and go underneath. So I'm just going to take, but you really don't have to take the tape and go all the way across. That's kind of overkill. I'm using transport tape. It's my favorite. It's nice and sticky. I'm going to rip it in half. It rips easily. And let's take this and put this over here. And we're going to do our final stitch out. And it's going to go all the way around. I'm going to grab my little stiletto too, just to make sure I can keep my fabric nice and flat. And you kind of want to tickle it in front. And we are done with our stitching. Let's go ahead and bring it over here. We'll finish it off. Oop. All right. So it says remove the project from the hoop, trim, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the magnets off. I'm going to grab my rotating mat and my ruler and a rotary cutter. Let's take off the tape first. So cute. What an easy project. Okay, 1/4 inch all the way around. You're going to trim those corners. Don't get corner greedy, meaning you do not have to get right to that stitch. Get close. So I usually cut it just like that. You're going to turn it right side out. Be gentle. And poke your corners as you go, meaning first you're going to go ahead and turn these two. I'm going to use this. These are my two favorite turners. This is the OASD Perfect Point turner, I think. And then I love this Clover one too, with the edges that you can kind of push out the sides. So if you do use this one, I'd recommend never using the small end. The small end always just goes right through, but before you turn both sides, you're going to poke your corners. And then you can take this edge and kind of just push it along the sides. And then you're going to turn the other side. But don't turn both because it's hard to get to the inside. Like if I were to turn this, it's hard for me to get in here to that side. So make sure you turn one side, poke your corners, turn the other side, poke the corners. And if your iron's nice and hot, you can go ahead and give this a little press. Oh my goodness, is that so cute? It's adorable. I love it. I love it. I love it. I've been wanting to make this for a while now. I just haven't had the time. And 4th of July is over, but it's always nice time to celebrate. I'm going to take this, give it a little shot of spray. Oh, this is a bad sprayer. Let's use this one. I love it. And there you go. Sweet Land of Liberty mug rug. So cute. And thank you for joining me. We will see you later.